Hi, this is Michael Brownlee at schoolforschools.com and the Plus Club. We're actually re-recording the session we held on Monday, February 18th at 4 o'clock. This is now Tuesday, February 19th, my son's 21st birthday. And I had some technical problems with the video capture, so I'm just going to redo it right now and share it with folks so we can record and you all can access this freely. So, okay, FAFSA. It's all about paying for college. All about paying for college. So, let's talk about that just real quick, okay? And by the way, before we get any further, I do want to introduce you to Stella and Puck. Let's see if we can find them. See them down there? Stella's going to snore now and then, so you'll have to bear with us while she snores. Hey, Pucky. Hey, Stella. Hi, babies. So you may hear that here. God loves Stella. She's a wonderful dog. And so bear with me when she does start snoring. Okay, let's get busy. Now, why college, okay? Society expects it. We expect it of our children. We want the best for our children, so college is the best way to get some good outcomes in the job market. It's hard out there. You guys know this. If you don't have a college degree, one, you make less money over your lifetime than you would otherwise. Two, these days, jobs that didn't require a degree in the past now do. I personally am not going to hire anybody for my service, even if we are in education or not. I'm not going to hire anybody who didn't put themselves through college, because that's an indicator of their ability to follow through, accomplish goals, and get things done, okay? And problem solve. So that's why I want to help all my students make it through high school, make it through college, because then the world is more open for you, more opportunities, okay? So personal success, job success, meeting people, all the things that college brings. But how do we pay for it, okay? It's crazy how much it costs. My daughter's school costs $45,000 a year. I sent my son to a music school, same price. It's unbelievable, okay? And if we don't pay for it, we got to take on debt. Or if we don't get someone else to pay for it, we got to take on debt. And so it's just be very, very wary about this. Something like 80% of college debt that is unpaid or falling behind is from people who have debt and either they're students or they dropped out of college. So when people leave college and they still have debt, they are not inclined to pay it because they've given up. Yet the debt will follow them forever. There's no bankruptcy protection in college debt, especially from the federal government. They collect their money no matter what, okay? That will hurt your credit history, your jobs, things. So it's just don't go that route. If you take on debt, graduate. Plain and simple. If you take on debt, graduate, okay? They're horror stories. One of the inspirations behind my service here is that a few years back, before I formulated the idea here, I met a kid, graduated from my school a couple years before. She was working in a gift shop I happened to walk into, and said, hello, hey, how are you? She left school, American University. She had been given a full scholarship. Her grades dropped below a B, violating the condition of the scholarship, and they charged her back $20,000. She was working minimum wage to try and get that. It's scary. Poor thing. I hope and pray she's doing well, but we've got to make sure that when we take on this debt, that we don't get stuck with it, okay? The best way to pay for college is cash, plain and simple. Right? The best way is to have someone else pay for it, okay? I helped a student get a $55,000 a year scholarship plus expenses to a very elite small liberal arts college up in New York. Awesome. 4 years, that's over $200,000 that she was paid to go to school. If you think about scholarships that way, they're paying part of it for you. So now, if you defer expenses, it becomes higher. So what you don't pay for now, you're going to have to pay for later, and later means more expensive, especially the way things are going now in this economy and uncertain futures and so on and so forth. Whatever you can pay now is an investment. It's not an expense, it's an investment. So look at your cash flow, see what assets you can move around, pay cash as much as you can, okay? Now, if you need help, you're going to have to go the FAFSA route. FAFSA, free, let's go back to the definition here of it, okay? Free application for federal student aid, okay? Now remember, ain't nothing free in this world, okay? So the application is, but the process is going to cost you. Okay, you got to get FAFSA, because even to get a scholarship, the schools offering the scholarships are going to demand to see your FAFSA record. And it's all about a benchmark for defining where the student stands in terms of ability to pay for college. Okay, it's a benchmark. They measure students against each other, and they apply you in where you stand based upon income, assets, and so on. All right, it's based on total family income and assets. Okay, my kids have 2 mommies, 2 daddies. Right, we're all remarried. They add up, all of us. I have a divorce decree whereby I have to pay for college, gladly. But even though I'm the only one who's required to pay for the kids' college, the FAFSA, in terms of scholarships and assistance and grants, counts the income of all of us as parents towards that calculation, which means we would way disqualify. It's not even close. So we get the minimals. Okay, so you got to do that. You got to include everybody on that. All right, now there's scholarships out there. Get them. Okay, work study. That's something that can be derived through FAFSA, by the way. The grants, your eligibility for grants, up to $5,500. Do note that grants can be considered income, so be careful about that. Okay. Now it also qualifies you for once you get that information in, you can get the apply for the direct Stafford loan, which is a loan to students. Okay. That's going to come from the Department of Education. They also have needs-based discounted interest rate loans, Perkins loans, and then they have Parent Plus, which is where the parent takes a loan on behalf of the student's college experience and expenses, but not the student. In the federal student loan, you parents will be required to co-sign it. Okay, if the kid has the credit to qualify for his or her own loan, kid probably doesn't need the loan in the first place. Parents will have to sign the promissory note. That means if the kid stops paying, parent has to start paying again. Be careful. Parent Plus is the route I've personally taken, and the reason for it is because the loans that I took started payments 6 months out. So it helped us get going on the loan portion that we needed, and we just start paying monthly. Okay, it was helpful, and as the college years went by, then the debt load was reduced. You may now opt to pay for the Parent Plus payments after graduation or leaving school. Clarify this: if you leave school, let's go back to it. If you leave school, you got debt. Okay, you got debt. All right, and you have to start paying it out. Okay, so do not drop out of college. You don't want to get stuck with debt and then not be able to pay it and not get a good job enough to pay it. It's just a viciously bad place to be. Okay, so these are the options for us, but to get to these options, we got to get through the FAFSA process. All right, so the loans will pay for tuition, room, and board, and I just want to touch upon this real quick. You may take a loan that's higher than the amount the school charges, and then they will refund you. They may refund the students. Be careful with that. Horror stories out there. Kids getting the $5,000, $6,000 overpayment and then blowing it on cars, parties, and dropping out of college. And then there we are, back in that vicious circle, okay? It's very, very dangerous. If you get the overpayment refund, send it back to the Department of Education. Pay it down right away, okay? Then there won't be any interest on it. It's really, really important that you be careful with that. It can be helpful if, for example, you're only paying tuition and you want to pay room and board cash, but you need a little help, so you take a couple $1,000s more. They send you the refund a month or two into the college year, and then that'll help you defer those expenses, which you'll have to pay back at the end of when the loan is due. Nothing free here, okay? It's not free money. All right, you got deadlines on FAFSA. Just be aware of them. This website here will give you those deadlines. States, schools have their own deadlines. They are flexible. Just letting you know. If you miss that June deadline, you can still get it in. The schools are motivated to help you get it through, okay? I'll show you. Gabby and I had a few issues trying to determine what was going to happen this year. We got our FAFSA in for her for this school year in September. It worked out. But the deadlines are end of June, and you want to keep those as much as possible, okay? Understand that the FAFSA is an account for students. All right? This is by the student, for the student. Parents are dragged in here because parents are going to have to pay for college. So if the student is dependent, the FAFSA is going to want the parent information to see really if the parent qualifies for assistance, grants, and loans, not the student, but it's about the student. The school's contract with the child, not with the parent. Okay? The grades, the information, all that's going to the student, not to the parent. Parents, you're cut out of the loop even though you're paying for it. Some schools, I understand, are starting to involve parents more directly. That's great. A little oversight. We need that. But the core relationship is with the student. They're a majority age. They can take on those contracts, but the parent role is to pay for it. And you don't get any of the benefit of it, you know? Well, you put your kids through college. It's wonderful, okay? You'll need required information for the FAFSA. Before you start, collect your socials, of everybody, date of birth, addresses. Remember, if you've got divorce situations and remarriage, you're going to need to get everybody's information in there. You can import in the form through the IRS if you've got a simple filing. You need assets and stuff. By the way, you have to be truthful on this, because if there's anything that draws attention to your particular form, you're going to get in big trouble. You can't lie on this form. It's like lying under oath. It's a violation of the law. Okay, get all the information before you start this here and bring it in. There's plenty of information out there about all that type of information you need. I'll give you some links to the FAFSA websites that will spell that out. It can take up to an hour to do it, and it's a pain. If you get stuck, you have to go back and find information, go back, and then restart again, so on and so forth. Okay, so be as prepared as possible when you start. Make sure your browser's working. I enable pop-ups in for FAFSA.ed.gov. I put in a little safe or acceptable site in my browser. I use Internet Explorer 10. FAFSA should detect if you have browser issues that all the functions don't work, but I add it to my safe site list just to make sure it works and I don't get stuck in the process of being 3/4 of the way through. Oh my God, the browser's not doing what it needs to be doing, and then start all over again. Okay, if you use Mozilla, Chrome, all those other things that just make sure it's working properly. Okay. Again, the FAFSA accounts for the student. The student will make the account. The student will have the PIN number, the student's email address. Now, kids lose these things. Kids forget. So it's better for parents to control this aspect, okay? You be in charge of that information, okay? You can use your own email, you can use the child's, but make sure you're in control of it, okay? Write it down. You're going to need these every year. You need to refile. And if you have to adjust things, you got to go back to it. It's just a pain to have to go back through the whole restart process, okay? Once you got that account set, it's there forever, okay? Here's some websites. I will have these for you. You can download this PowerPoint and get these links here directly. We're going to go look at a couple of these websites and see this whole process, okay? Now, here's the FAFSA.ed.gov. Don't go to FAFSA.com. That's a commercial site. They want you to pay them to help you walk through this process. You don't need them. It's actually got some good resources on it, but and you want to be going for the ed.gov site, okay? So you start a new FAFSA, you got to create an account, or if you have one, you log in here, and then you go forward. You got all your different resources in here. There's plenty of them. There's help. You can search and so on and so forth. What I want to do right now is walk through the FAFSA estimator, okay? So we're going to go to the FAFSA estimator. Federal Student Aid, apply for aid. We're going to go to the FAFSA forecaster. Okay, let me zoom this up a little bit. And let's do a sample student here just to see what would be the outcome of a FAFSA, so you know what to expect when you start this. So we're going to come in, we're going to say I'm a citizen. I'll do my date of birth, 2/18/1, that's 21, 2, I guess I got to do 02/18/1995. Let's just say, okay, I'm not married. I'm going to start my first year of college. I have filed taxes. I do not have dependents, okay? That means I may be a dependent myself. Now, please note here, we're being required to see, are we active duty, are we turned 13, my parents are deceased, and so on and so forth. If none of these reply, means that you, the student, are a dependent of your parents legally through the tax filings and so on and so forth. So most of us are going to be checking this. Now, guess what happens? They want the parent information. Got it? If you're not a dependent, watch, they don't need the parent information. Okay, you got to be 24 years old for FAFSA purposes or qualify for these conditions. And all that means is that your income is going to be less, right? So you'll qualify for more aid. But if you are a dependent, okay, then you're going to be dragged in. Okay, so parents are married, remarried. Okay, let's go to married, remarried. Stepdad's 50, mom's 40. Let's see, mom was 45. Okay, let's see, there are 6 people in all the households, 2 kids in college. Okay, let's get rid of my little reminder here. And the parents have filed taxes. Okay, we're just going to say they all made collectively $150,000 between 2 mommies and 2 daddies. We'll be down in Virginia. And they assume assets that we have. Let's just say we got $52,000. We'll go with that. Okay, and now we have the student information. Student had a good summer, made $5,000. Okay, student assets. I think generally these are going to be really low. So let's just put in $500. Okay, and we live in Virginia. So let's move on. Okay, so we've given because the student's a dependent. We got a problem here. What's the net worth, investments, in real estate? Oh, we got to add 000 to that. Okay, so Let's just say 0, 0 there, okay, and submit. Okay. Now, we could add the school we're interested in, but let's just say we're going to a state school that costs $26,000 a year. Let's zoom this up a little bit. All right. We don't qualify for a grant, so the government's not going to give us money. We might get state grants, we might get college grants, we might get scholarships. Let's say we got a little $4,000 scholarship for being a cool person. This college wants us there. We do qualify. I mean the student, qualifies for $1,400 in work study, so you take a job on campus and they can apply that money towards your tuition. We qualify for a $5,500 direct Stafford loan. Now, this is a loan directly to the student, okay? The student is responsible for this. The parents are not bound to co-sign this, okay? So this is student loan only. I make my kids take this because I want them, when they graduate, to feel a little of the pain, okay? Now, so let's calculate what we have to come up with to pay for this college. $26,000. We can get a hold of almost $11,000 in grants. We still got to come up with $15,000. Okay. Let's take a $10,000 Parent Plus loan, which we'll have to start paying in 6 months. Let's not defer it because it's better to pay it down as soon as you can. Okay. And then we're going to pay $5,035 out of cash flow. Now, of course, that doesn't include books, transportation, flying back and forth to school or Thanksgiving, all that stuff. I mean, it's so expensive. All right, but this is how we're going to get to pay that. Well, listen, it's a crazy world for college. It's incredible how expensive it is. Anything I can do to help you through the process, please let me know. Okay, I appreciate you taking the time today. We'll do more of these workshops and webinars just to help you all through. Let me know what you'd like to hear, what you need, and thank you for joining. Stella didn't snore the whole time. That's kind of nice. Oh, there she is. Go, Stella. Okay, thanks so much for joining.